The first thing we're going to be doing today is installing WireGuard on Linux. I'm going to be installing it on Ubuntu, and so we go to wireguard.com/install and we'll get the directions for installing it on Linux. We'll get the terminal window open, then we'll do a copy and paste from all the commands under the particular operating system that you're going to be using. So unlike Windows and Mac, you need to use a terminal window to install WireGuard. So the first one, we'll just do a copy and paste of the sudo, which is getting the repository for WireGuard. When you do sudo, you'll need to put in your password and follow the directions. So go ahead and we'll hit enter. It's going to go out and get all the files that it may need. There. Then we will select the next command, which is a sudo apt-get update. That'll update any software that needs to. Doing a simple cut and paste is the best way to do it. And then finally install WireGuard itself. In this process, depending on what kind of computer you're running it on, may take a little bit or a long time. It just depends. So you'll want to say yes. It'll tell you how much hard drive space. So the next thing we're going to do while that's installing is, if you have an older Mac, what you're going to need to do is install very similar to this. You can follow these kind of directions, but you're going to need to go all the way down toward the bottom, and you're going to see basically it's called Homebrew, and you can install WireGuard on older Mac OSs. You just need to use this set of directions and not the application that easily installs, the app that you download and install. So I just wanted to point that out. So we're back to the installation. It's still going through, getting all the packages. I think it was about 123 megs of data that's being installed. So we're just going to wait until that ends. Okay, after this install is complete, what we're going to have to do is do a terminal install of the configuration files that were downloaded off the Algo server. So as this finishes up, we'll move to the next stage, which is going to be taking the config files and getting them into the VPN and then booting the VPN. Okay, this installation is done, so we will move on to the next part. This next set of commands will basically be taking the config file that we downloaded, we moved onto this Linux server, and we're going to take it and install it within the WireGuard app. So we're going to the Documents folder, we're going to grab this entire command. Actually, we're only going to grab part of it. It'll make it a lot easier. So we'll do a copy, we'll come over here, we'll do a paste, and that is the first part of the command. When you see username.conf, that is the file, the UK London JJ101.conf. We'll just do a copy of that. We'll paste it in there. Then we'll make sure we do a space after, and then we'll do where this is actually going to be installed, and that's within the WireGuard application. So we'll go ahead and click on that and say paste, and then hit return. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename it to WG1 instead of WG0, and that is so we can install multiple .conf files. So we need to sudo this, put the password in, and that's done. The idea behind Linux running WireGuard is that you need to do everything by command line. So for example, we're going to enable WG0 to bring that up and move from where I currently am to where WG0 is, and that's in Atlanta. So you run that command as a quick up, and you'll see that all of a sudden, instead of being in Kansas, I will go to Atlanta, and that's where the IP address will be. And that will remain up until I bring it down. So the command, and the commands will be down below this, were WG-quick up for WG0, and you can do the same thing as you can do instead of up, you can do down. WG0 signifies one VPN connection. WG1 could be another one. So WG0 could be Atlanta, WG1 could be London, WG2 could be Fremont, California, WG3 could be Dallas, Fort Worth. So whatever you associate and install the WG number will be the VPN that you use when you bring up the WG-quick up, and then followed by the WG and then whatever number. In this example, you'll see that we're going to take our connection to Atlanta, and we're going to bring it down, and we're going to go to our normal connection out of my house. And there we go. I'm going to hide where it is, but if we want to go into London, we will take and do a WG1 and take it from down to up, and then magically we will end up in our London VPN. That's basically how you take things up and down, on and off. It's not a pretty interface like it is in Windows or on Mac, but you're running Linux, and so there are some limitations on how things are run. That's about it right now. Thanks a lot.